the Culture Club. What exactly does that mean? What does it take to be inside of an organization and have that success that you want? When you go into something new, you want to sit down and leave your own imprint on it because you're going to spend time, you're going to spend your energies, and you want to sit down and have an impact on the organization saying, they made the right decision by hiring me. So it just depends who you are and how you want to leave that imprint on the organization. We talk about a culture. There's a set of shared values, beliefs, and norms that are there that influence how employees think, feel, and behave, for good or for bad. Just depends. It was interesting. My very first college experience, we had 5 different campuses. There was one campus that took value in being the rogue campus. They did all kinds of stuff, anywhere from inappropriate activities of a personal nature. I'll let you figure out what that means, all the way to the aspect of always dressing inappropriately at the wrong moments. The whole aspect of it and how they felt about each other and their relationships. It was interesting where another one was always pristine and they were always dressed to the nines. It was just kind of the nature of it. You'll see different atmospheres within the same organization in different divisions. Manufacturing might have this. You might have this over in marketing. Human resources this. And accounting, you might have this. You might have subcultures inside the main culture on top of that. It shapes the work environment. It impacts employee morale. It affects the business performance. It really is the elements down here called values, norms, symbols, language, and even rituals. What rituals do you have? Do you have a Monday morning meeting? I hope you don't. I hope it's a Monday afternoon meeting. But is there a norm that you have where everybody on your executive team is expected to meet? If you're part of management, what is the norm there? Do you have dialogues about how to communicate? Dialogues how to have uniformity as to how you interpret contracts. Uniformity about discipline that's between them. At one college I was at, I set up a leadership circle, and all it was I talked to the president to give me a budget to buy lunch, and I would bring all the second level leaders in, and we would have lunch. We would talk about problems. And really, we solved a lot of them before they became anything serious by having dialogue. So instead of having a serious problem, it was just kind of casual. Go talk to them about this over here. Let's do this. And we would answer questions on a monthly basis in an informal setting over food. It's incredible how food can play a role in culture as well. Employee engagement, if you have a strong culture and people believe in it, it can boost morale and productivity. If you have an opportunity, I encourage you to read some of the great books, not written by the leaders themselves, but by people that interviewed them in the process. Stephen Jobs, about Apple, they said that he had this force field around him, and all of a sudden people would suspend reality and just plow forward. And he created a company that to this day is one of the most innovative companies out there, really upon his own back and his personality. And he was not a nice person at all. Nobody would ever make that mistake, except for the fact that he carried this shared vision, and he shared it, and people owned the vision, and they moved forward at an incredible rate because they knew they were doing something totally unique. Employee engagement. The retention, it reduces turnover rate if you have that, and it really aligns the employees to the goals, and people have a belief system that this matters. It matters because culture matters. It is the core principles that guide behavior, decision-making. There's norms, there's unexpected rules that you have, expectations on behavior. There's logos, there's dress codes, there's visual representation. We all wear the same shirt on Friday, so we all look the same. You have that all the way to being totally outrageous, to being pirates, to being obnoxiously wild if you wanted to. Jargon, acronym, communication styles, ceremonies. Some of this stuff is a big deal in the culture, and when you go in, make certain that you adopt the culture and don't try to buck against it, even if you don't like it. Okay, if it's something, unless you have a strong value that you totally think it is wrong, make certain that you adopt the culture and take your time before you think about changing it. Leaders set the tone. It is a top-down aspect on the culture. Communication needs to be open, transparent. It needs to reinforce the culture on a regular basis. Reward behavior that align to cultural values. I mentioned already how we had a reward system where if you caught somebody doing good, we had a program. The program lasted 2 months, and by the time it was all done, we would catch people doing something good that was above and beyond the regular job. You have no idea. We opened up a restaurant a half hour early just for our employees, and we took over the restaurant, and we didn't have any speeches. The only speech we had was a thank you, and that the thank you lasted 3 minutes between the president, myself. We talked about that. We just says, thank you very much. You've been caught doing something good. What a wonderful opportunity. You are the best of the best. Thank you very much. And it was a simple meal, but it meant something, and people talked about it for a long time afterwards. Always look at the different types of culture. You have 4 different types of basic elements. You have a clan culture where you look at flexibility. Not stability, because you always, it's employee focused, but you want to be flexible with the employees. Another one we call this adhocracy, risk-taking culture, where you value risk takers. Okay, you'll see that with anything that Elon Musk touches. Okay, the market culture, a competitive culture, putting profits over employee satisfaction. We need to bring out that bottom line more. Okay, work until you fall and die, as long as you get more profit. That's almost that bad. Okay, a hierarchy where you value stability and effectiveness and high structure. You'll see that a lot if you take international business. You'll see these type of cultures also sometimes align with national cultures as well. Competing values, flexibility, discretion. You can kind of see how they're different between all 4 of them. The clan is really collaborative. The adhocracy is creative. The hierarchy is control. The market is compete. You'll have all these things, and it's going to depend as to what you have. I want you to know all 4 of these by name on a regular basis so you can recite them, because they really are possible in the aspect of if you're going into an organization. Here we have an academic setting, but this is part of the real world past this classroom. You need to know this to sit down and be open to what you're going into, because it'll change with the leadership styles, and also even in the same industry, you'll see different companies carry totally different cultures with them. Many believe the culture shapes the long-term success because it really enhances the system that's out over there. So pay attention to that. Look on these 12 different aspects and change. Formal statements, slogans the same, rites and rituals, stories, legends and myths. Those are very powerful. How the leaders react or don't react to crisis. Role modeling, trading, coaching, the design, rewards, titles, promotions, bonuses. How are you rewarding this certain type of activity? Is it formal, informal? Are you flexing that by the individuals? The organizational goals, the different type of measurable activities you have, the structure and the system all by itself. There's a lot in this segment over here. The culture really is, a lot of times it's in writing, but the way it's implemented is very subtle and not in writing. It is one of those non-tangibles of every organization. The culture, values, norms, symbols, language, and rituals, and the 4 different kind of cultures of the clan, adhocracy, market, and hierarchy. Know these. It'll help you in your career pathway, especially if we pay attention to the Department of Labor, which says that by the age of 40, the actual Gen Z and the millennials will have about 18 to 20 different jobs. You'll be seeing each one of these cultures somewhere in your career pathway. The Culture Club. You're joining it whether you know it or not, because it's part of every organization. The culture is there. Take care.